Welcome back to your Fantasy Football Buddies. I'm Steven Moran.
I'm Jeff Ellis, and welcome to your Week 2 preview. Week 2 is rapidly approaching, and we don't want you to get tagged with an unnecessary loss.
We'll also give you the important injury update.
We're going to have our Start-ems
and Sit-ems.
All that right now.
All right, Jeff.
Injury update. We better fly through this because there is a lot.
It is. We'll start in Houston. Arian Foster, everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with him. Look, unfortunately, it looks like he is the dreaded game time decision. You know what that means, Jeff?
That means that you better know your beat writers like we talked to you about last week. Follow this up to date. If he does not practice tomorrow, Friday, it is very doubtful that he will play on Sunday. And Gary Kubiak has gone on the record and said, by the way, when he starts on the field, I'm going to give him a full load. So I would lean towards the side that he may not start on Sunday, but you don't know yet.
That's right. But he's also said, Kubiak has also said that he likes what he's seen from Ben Tate, so Ben Tate might be the guy for a little while, at least until Arian Foster is healthy. You don't know until you know.
Steven Jackson didn't practice again today, Steven.
There you go. Steven Jackson has come out and said that he has not ruled himself out. But you know what, Jeffrey?
He's not a coach.
Most of the coaches have pretty much ruled him out.
Appreciate your optimism on yourself. Speaking of optimism, Hakeem Nicks plans to return to individual drills tomorrow, and the swelling has gone down in his knee that is bruised and banged up. So maybe he could go.
All right, Baltimore wide receiver. This one's interesting. Lee Evans. He says that he's wearing a protective boot on his foot, and that's just precautionary.
So I'm going to basically put myself in a full body cast, and then nothing bad can ever happen to me.
Yeah,
What's worse is that he's actually on the record. This is an exact quote, is, I absolutely plan on playing on Sunday, but we'll have to see.
Wait a minute. So you see what happened was that I could play, but
unless I can't.
Yeah, there you go.
What happened is I want to have my cake and eat it too.
Buffalo wide receiver Stevie Johnson was held out of Bills practice today for an undisclosed reason. Now, if you got Stevie Johnson on your team, he did pretty good last week, but you need to make sure, find out what this is. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yep, see about that. Andy Dalton resumed throwing today. There are intermediate passes, along kind of dump-off passes. He has yet to stretch it out, but he seems like he's going to be good to go. Where yesterday he was called questionable at best.
That's right. So another one to keep your eye on. Denver running back Noshawn Morendo and wide receiver Brandon Lloyd were held out of practice again today. Now, it's pretty tough if you're a Denver Broncos fan because your number one wide receiver and your number one running back are out.
Very bad. One equals 0.
And finally, wide receiver Dez Bryant of the Dallas Cowboys, Jeff. Jerry Jones has come out and said that he is doing okay and that he expects Dez Bryant to play on Sunday against the Niners.
When your general manager is also the owner and a billionaire and he says you're playing, guess what, kid? Strap him on. You're playing.
You're playing, dog. All right, Jeff, now it's time for Start-em and Sit-ems.
It's time for the Start-em part of the Start-em and Sit-em Start-ems with Steven.
For week 2. Okay, what he said. Starting off with quarterbacks, Jeffrey, I like Matt Stafford. Look, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can throw the ball against the Chiefs and tear them up that way, guess what Matt Stafford's going to do with Megatron and Nate Burleson at the helm?
Torch!
Yes.
On the running back side of things, we like Tim Hightower a lot. He's got something to prove. He's going up against an Arizona Cardinal team that basically said, you know what? There's this guy named Beanie Wells that's kind of mediocre, and we don't like you as well as him, so guess what? Bye. Yes. And he has a chance to torch them, and guess what? He does.
They cast him off to Washington. I think he'll have a good game there.
Revenge games are sweet.
I like Cedric Benson against the Denver Broncos. Last week, the Broncos couldn't stop anybody. It didn't matter who was running the ball for. Have you heard of Marcel Reese? Yeah, he scored against the Denver Broncos for the Oakland Raiders, okay? So Cedric Benson should have a good game there against the Denver Broncos.
Okay. And then Mario Manningham versus the St. Louis Rams. As we told you earlier, Hakeem Nicks is banged up with the knee. They've got a brand-new slot receiver in Brandon Stokely who's still trying to get up to speed with the playbook. He burned you last week, but I think he gets double-digit points this week.
All right, another wide receiver that we like, Vincent Jackson of the San Diego Chargers. This is your big dog.
3 points.
Who only gave you 3 points last week.
I was pissed.
Well, Jeffrey, that's all right. You don't sit your big dog down, okay? He will bounce back against the New England Patriots. Chad Henne and Brandon Marshall were able to, connect for some really nice passes against New England last week. This week, Vincent Jackson gets back on the board.
Okay, these are your not obvious Start-ems in the Start-em, Sit-em part of Start-ems. We want to get to the Sit-em part of them, and these are not the obvious sits.
Sit-ems now. Quarterback Cam Newton.
That's what I said.
Everybody is excited about Cam Newton.
He's all that in a bag of chips.
He had a great debut, but this week he goes up against the Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. That defense is looking pretty good right now. I would sit Cam Newton this week and not start him too soon.
Watch him, though, because he could be interesting. Running backs, the law firm, Ben Jarvis, Green-Ellis et al. You got to sit all of them, Ben Jarvis and Green-Ellis, because you know what? Bill Belachick did what Bill Belichick does, and he says, surprise, I'm going to show you something completely different in the preseason than what I actually have planned to do in the regular season. And he handed the ball to him like he was just giving candy to a baby. And now we're in the regular season, and it's tight end fest there in New England.
That's right. They've given way to their aerial attack. Plus, Danny Woodhead got twice the number of carries that Ben Jarvis Green-Ellis did, and he's playing against the San Diego Chargers team that pretty much kept Adrian Peterson in check.
Pretty hacked off about that. D'Angelo Williams.
I am done with this guy, Jeff. D'Angelo Williams, out. I don't want to. I'm not going to play him, and you shouldn't play him either. This week, he's going up against the Green Bay Packers, a very good run defense. Last week, he couldn't run against Arizona. What makes you think he's going to run this week?
If he manages to get 10, 11 points, trade him.
Now, wide receiver that you should sit, and look, I'm sitting him too. I was high on this guy. I really like this guy, Chad Ochocinco. You know I like Chad. Everybody likes Chad. The problem is Chad only played it. Yeah.
I just got
Stop tweeting.
No, I actually just got it. You heard the ding. I got this from Chad. He says that he would love to get together later, but he's got to learn the playbook.
Well, that's right. He only played in 18 out of 71 offensive plays for the Patriots. Until he learns that offense and he's on the field for a lot more plays than that, I'd leave him on the bench. I'm Steven Miranda
Jeff Ellis.
for your Fantasy Football Buddies.